I actually want to start this video from this position because I've noticed that twisting my knee, having it like this, like how I did in the thumbnail that I just took now, is actually increasing the pain that I've been feeling in my knee during this warm-up. I've got to be really careful because if I'm not, then I might permanently injure my knee. That'd make it just a lot more difficult to do a lot of this exercise that I'm doing, because any sort of walking movement, any sort of exercise that involves the feet walking around, which every exercise does to get into position, for example, it's just going to be unnecessarily painful. Apologies for the noise in the background. I don't know what it is. Now, just as I just do this, that was just spontaneously, but yeah, I'm obviously in agony. When you look at my face, it's just really not nice, and I don't know where all of this could have really come from. This is something that I'm just trying to figure out now, not only during this review, but during the session itself. I was trying to figure out what aggravated it and trying to work around that, so I'm not aggravating any knee pain. It's really not nice. And at least I'm not feeling lower back pain though. It probably might, not necessarily probably, but it might just pass eventually after a while, but I won't necessarily be prepared if it comes back if I just leave it at that. So I'm going out my way to find out what actually causes it, and it's any sort of movement which involves inwardly pointing the feet, it seems. Like just doing that alone, maybe walking from the front. Like for example, if you want to work on your posture and you want to do that by walking backwards so that your shoulders aren't slouched. I was getting into a position like that when you twist your feet, or when I twist my feet, that's enough to cause knee pain if I'm not careful, which actually did happen in the warm-up when I was doing that on my tiptoes as I was trying to stretch my calves off. Well, I say stretch my calves off like I just did a cool down, but no, stretch my calves for the warm-up. Yeah, so I've got to be really, really careful. That's just the main thing of this warm-up, that knee pain. Man, even just feeling it alone, it doesn't feel like it's screaming at me, but it just feels unpleasant, like the pain's lingering there. And although I would be able to take my mind off it if I really wanted to, I know it's there, and I don't want to take my mind off it because that could be a permanent injury if I'm not careful. Quad extensions might help as my knee clicked. Got to be careful with that as well. I don't want to be excessively using my joints to then have unnecessary injury. But yeah, I could do quad extensions. Apologies for the ashy hands. That's something I could do. Maybe that might help as I'll be inwardly pointing my toes and using that part of the knee. I can feel it. I can feel it move in there as I do that. I'm not sure if that will help for certain, but it's something. What else did I do? I did my 100 jump prep, my 100 skip rope preps, which was the start of all of this. But this time around, I didn't feel a headache, and my form's improved. I'm finding it easier to do the reps. I don't think it's just the shoes, which feel more comfortable because of their wider toe boxes, but also because I've done it for a while, and I'm just getting more fit in general because I'm planning my sessions more effectively for my current physical ability level. So with that in mind, I'm actually making improvements now and not trying to run before I can crawl. I'm letting myself crawl and go through those baby stages, which I then eventually be able to make progress like no other, which I'd actually say I'm on the way to doing now already. I felt a little bit of pain there. Maybe pushing into it increases that. That does. That right there. but not much. It's slight, but it's present and it's lingering. Here and there, I just feel the sharp and intense pain. It's instant when it comes. But anyway, I liked using the bands for my shoulders. I sense I'm getting more flexible by starting off with the bands around my back rather than in front of me, because then I have to really put effort into getting it above my head. Anything else? I felt hungry during this session because I've only had fruits to eat. So I think before starting the main sessions that I want to do, like the push-ups and that, I'm looking at my plans as I say that. I have something heavy to eat. My stomach's rumbling already, fruits aren't cutting it, and I'm starting to make the rule, like starting from yesterday, that if I've had a lot of fruits and I'm still feeling hungry and that just doesn't seem like it's cutting it, then I'll have something big with some more fruits on top of that and some yogurt. It's helping my digestive system, making me shit easily. It's really, like, really pleasant. Plus, I'm decreasing my weight. I was at an overweight BMI, and I might still be. However, that's okay, because I know why I went there and why I got to that point. Because I understood and still understand that BMI doesn't take body composition into account, but when I look at my stomach, it's obvious that that BMI description, that value, is somewhat accurate because of how big my belly looks. That's not a muscular 90 kg that I was at, really. It's quite the fat 90 kg that I was at, and that's okay because I know that I went out of my way to do that, to build more strength and build more muscle for a pleasant looking physique. But because of how I did it, it just hasn't happened the first time around getting to this weight of 90 kg. But I'm now around, last time I checked, 88.7, I think. So that's fine. I saw people on YouTube like Grow Through Calisthenics and Ian Barzigel, who are around my height, I'm 6'1", say that they weigh 85 to 90 kg-ish, if I remember correctly. And I was thinking, okay, they're the same height and they're at that weight. I'll just get to that weight. Why not try that out? And that was back when I was around 75 kg. I put on a whole load of weight, and now it's obvious that it just hasn't, although that weight might be muscular for someone like me, I'll be able to look very muscular at that weight and actually be muscular, be strong and be healthy at that weight. It just hasn't happened the first time around. And like Akash Vagela from R&T Fitness, who made Transform Your Body, Transform Your Life, it's a book which I used to read. I probably am gonna, like he said, have to go through multiple yearly cycles of bulking and cutting if I wanted to, for example, get at that weight and look the same way that Grow Through Calisthenics, now called Hybrid Athlete, looks like. Shout out to him. Obviously, we're not going to look exactly the same, but because of height, I was thinking that weight and me looking similar to how he looks now should be somewhat possible, to not look exactly the same, but to look somewhat similar because we're at the same height. That doesn't take into account a whole load of factors, of course, like genetics and how body fat displaces around the body, muscle structure, and what the muscle growth would look like on us. But it's just a reference that I used to get to a point that I thought I'd feel more happy with compared to in the past. And I'd say I have been able to grow and develop on my strength, so it definitely has helped me. But for the sake of my health, I'm decreasing my weight, not losing weight. I take that very literally when people say lose weight. When they say lose weight, they mean decrease it, but I take that very literally and say, well, I'm not doing that because it's not lost and found. It's not like it's a belonging that's gone in the lost and found. It's a very purposeful action decreasing weight is. It's not something that just happens. It's not like you can just misplace it. Obviously, that's not what they mean, but I take it very literally, and I think of it like that in my head when I think of the idea of losing weight. I don't really think that that's the end goal, and that's a healthy way of thinking when it comes to weight management, because there's only so much weight that we can decrease until it starts to become unhealthy. So I personally think that losing weight and decreasing weight is more of a short-term goal than a long-term goal. The long-term goal in terms of managing our weight is weight management, not gaining muscle or increasing weight or gaining weight or decreasing it. That's just a part of the weight management, and it would be pleasant if that were the trend more, honestly. When you see typical gym videos, you see videos based on weight management as a whole and not like how to lose weight or how to gain weight, how to grow your glutes, how to build your upper body and stuff like that. They're just a part of the bigger picture, and it'd be more pleasant that it was more known that weight management is more of a long-term picture than just all of these short-term goals that people might have. Anyway, that's unrelated to this video. I will end it here and say, although those what I've called short-term goals are more than okay, I just prefer if in the fitness industry on YouTube, for example, thought of like more broadly put out the idea of weight management out there, not just losing weight or just gaining weight, although those are a part of the bigger picture. Hence why I'd want that to be out there as weight management, because that is the bigger picture, not just those constituent parts of weight management. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'm done. So cheers to working through this knee pain. I'll get through it eventually and find out what's going on. One day I'd like to imagine that I've got people who can help me out here, like people who I regularly go to, like physio and stuff like that, that would help me take care of myself, because I'd have a clear idea of what to and to not do, and what doesn't aggravate certain joint pain and muscle pain rather than over muscle soreness, and what does and doesn't create muscle soreness that I'm looking for, what doesn't create muscle pain that I'm trying to avoid, for the sake of keeping myself healthy, both my bones and my joints, and just keeping mobile and having a high quality of life. But anyway, now I'm done. Peace.